Hello and welcome to another episode of Athletic Armour's Insights, a podcast series. Today I'm going to discuss about Deload Week and what it is, how to do it and why to do it as well. So let's see what it entails. So have you ever wondered or experienced when you're in the gym sometimes pushing so hard but you feel drained, fatigued and you feel like you can't actually push that much? It might be that you're overtrained, over-fatigued, and over-pushing yourself, and you need a break. Now, by break, I don't mean taking the week off. To be honest, that might be necessary too. But for today's purposes, we're talking about reducing the intensity and the volume in a structured way, which is called a deload training. Trust me, it's more like a cheat sheet, but in a very structured and a very formal way. Where you actually don't miss out on your workouts, but plan for the long term and make it sustainable as such. So what exactly is Deload Week? It's a very planned and structured approach where you lower the intensity, the volume, and the overall number of exercises that you follow in your regular training program. It's not being lazy, but cutting down on the volume and intensity and the workload so that your body has a chance to recover and heal faster. There's a common misconception that a deload week is a complete rest day or rest week as a whole and doing nothing and just sitting on the couch. That could not be farther from the truth because it's more like an active rest week where you're doing some activity, some movement, which is your actual training program, but with a lower intensity and workload. What this does actually is allows your body to recover, replenish its resources because you're eating the same amount of calories, allows it to, rest a bit more because the workload is less, you sleep a little bit better, and when you sleep it's more efficient because the body is using all the resources just to recover as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So it is a very important tool that you can use over the period of time, and we'll talk about when to use it, how to use it as well. But just remember that deload weeks are super important and as important as your regular training week. So some of the symptoms of the fatigue and all those factors or the markers that you need to look for is firstly reduced motivation to go to the gym. And also if it's over the course of a week, it's usually a sign that you're tired. Then physical tiredness and fatigue in general. So if you observe yourself and see that you can't push not just one session, but also it has been a consistent pattern for 3 to 4 sessions, you know something's off. The third is if you're not able to sleep that well, again because of fatigue, tiredness, or all the other factors, that's another sign that you might need to back off a little bit. The fourth, and hopefully this is not true for anyone, but any injuries or nagging injuries in hamstrings, for example, or even in your upper body might be a sign that you need to tone it down or back off a little bit and reduce the intensity. So now you know what signs to look for when you're trying to deload or when you're thinking about deload weeks. So now we'll talk about how actually to do it and implement it. So essentially there are 3 ways you can actually deload, and these are the most common practices that everyone or every athlete follows. The first is to actually reduce the volume of your workout. So let's say you do 5 sets of squats or 5 reps each. You reduce the volume, which means you do 3 sets of, let's say, 4 reps or 5 reps of your squats, and similarly for all the other exercises. So you reduce the number of set and the reps so that the overall volume is low. Your weight can remain the same as you would have used previous weeks, so it can be heavy, but the volume comes down significantly. What this does is reduces the fatigue and the fatigue that is put on your central nervous system, and that's one way to deload and back off. So the second way is to reduce the intensity of your workout. So you might actually do the same number of set and reps. So you might do 5 sets or 5 reps each, of your squats, bench, whatever exercise you do, but reduce the actual weight of that workout. So let's say you usually squat 100 kgs, 5 set, 5 reps each. In your deload week, you bring it down to 40 to 60% of that weight. So you do 5 sets at about 40 to 60 kgs. Again, what this does is it doesn't put too much fatigue or too much stress on your nervous system and your body as a whole, which means you can recover a bit quicker, more efficiently. So that's the second method. Reduce your weight or your weight of your workout to 40 to 60% of your usual weight. Now the third method is actually the combination of method 1 and method 2, and which is what I personally do as well. So what I do if I'm deloading is reduce the volume and the intensity of my workout, which means I reduce the number of set, reps and the weight that I lift during my deload week. Now there are arguments against and for, but for me it works because I reduce the fatigue so significantly that the recovery is much more efficient and faster. Now you might find it different, because some people want to lift heavy all the time. It doesn't have to be that way. So personally I feel reduce the number of set, reps and the weight, just so that you give your body the best chance to recover efficiently. But having said that, it is actually a bit hard to do it, because you're lifting not only lighter weights but for a few number of sets, and you feel like you're lazing off or you're backing off too much. But believe me, it will help you, because it has helped me as well. And it is actually going back to that beginner mindset where you just trying to perfect your form or trying to learn a new exercise. You always start with lower weight or lighter weights. So that's the mentality you need to incorporate in your deload week. So stick to the movements, focus on your form, etc. But again, reduce the volume and the intensity of your workouts. Now I know what most of you are thinking. If I deload, will I lose my gains, or will I actually look or feel weak? The answer is no. You would never lose your gains in a week of detraining. And also you're not detraining like you're not sitting on the couch. You are training, but with a different purpose. So the answer is no, you won't lose your gains. You'll actually boost them when you're back in the gym. You'll not look weak. It's more psychological, where you feel like, because you're not lifting heavy, you might feel as if you are weak. The answer is no, you aren't. I think it's more important to reframe and rethink deload weeks. So you think of it as a strategy that you're applying to actually bounce back in a stronger way when you're actually back from the deload. So that will actually shape your thinking about deload, and looking at it in a way where it's a planned effort, and you don't want to slack off too much and be lazy for a deload week as well. So yes, you won't lose any of your gains. Go schedule in a deload week every 5 weeks. So if you are training in a 6-week block or 12-week period, you can actually do your first deload after 5 weeks, the second one after 10 weeks or 11 weeks, and you just keep repeating itself. There are factors where you can bring it a bit forward, push it a bit back based on how you feel, but there has to be an element of planning before you start your program for a deload week. Don't wait for those signs of fatigue and illness and injury to set in, and schedule in your deload weeks as soon as you're actually getting into your new program. Hopefully the information provided in this video will act as a starting point for you, and give you all the tools you need how to structure it. But if you want to have a holistic view of what an athlete recovery should look like, feel free to download our free athlete recovery checklist in the description below. Also, please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, to receive no-nonsense, science-backed training tips, training programs, and any functional fitness topics that we share. So I'll let you schedule your deload week into your training program, and I'll see you in the next video.